by listening to the customer. If you're telling people it's okay to fail faster, learn faster, whichever, you should be okay with it personally too, right? Not just in a project setting. I find that people are very accustomed and accepting of that in a framework for what they're doing at work, but personally, accepting that I'm an iterative person.
Yeah, absolutely. And owning it at work with your team publicly if need be. You want to have a team really respect you and be willing to come with you on an initiative. Admit you're wrong a couple times without blaming them. Whether it was their fault or not. I always felt as a product owner, whatever happened on the team, I was ultimately responsible for in some way. So when something bad happened, I would take responsibility for it. When something good happens, you give credit to the team. In those scenarios, then when you do make a mistake or you need help, they'll have your back because they know that you'll have their back. And I mean, I had a situation once where I was just team level product owner, and we were coming in really, really hot on a release. I mean, we were like maybe 2 weeks away from cutting the gold CDs on like a 3-year release. So every bug was being monitored like by senior vice presidents. And I had a developer come to me at like 5 o'clock on a Tuesday night, and he said, "Have you seen this?" And it was a big deal, showstopper in the application, basically something that would have been an embarrassment. And what had happened is we'd built half of a feature, and then we ended up descoping it. We were going to take it out and hide it, but we had never done that. And it was my fault. I hadn't queued up the story to do it. I thought somebody else had done it. They hadn't, and I hadn't followed up. And so the bug was glaring. The work was easy because it was just hide it, but everything was going to escalate sky high. So I checked in with my boss to make sure he wanted to pursue it. He did. And then after that, I just sent an email to all of our stakeholders, and way higher layers of management than I would have ever wanted to know about this, and said, "We have an issue. It's my fault. I accept responsibility for it, but we need to fix this." And then I went home for the night, and the dev team and the QA team were both in India. And I was expecting this to escalate into a conversation. The next morning, I woke up and immediately checked my email and was pleasantly surprised by a string of about 12 emails. It started with, "Dev has it and is working the fix. Dev has completed the fix and has checked it, and it's been integrated into this build. QA has the fix and is validating. QA has validated the fix. You're good to merge for release. It's been merged for release." And the last one was, "You only need approval from the change control board to get release." And the next one was our project manager saying, "I've received offline approval. It doesn't need to come to CCB." Boom, you're done. And I can only imagine how the dialogue would have been different if I had approached it with, "Oh my gosh, team, why didn't you catch this? What were you thinking?" Right. And it was my fault. It legitimately was my fault. But whether it had been or hadn't been, it didn't matter. I was a product owner. That was my product. I'd looked at it hundreds of times, and I hadn't seen that issue.
I think that's an important lesson, is that it's, and I've coached other people on this too. It's not how we got here. It's how we're going to get out of here. We can go back and we can spend all this time talking about how we got here, but let's do that after we get out of here.
Right, if we must.
Hopefully by then we won't care as much.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Okay, so we're getting down to the end here. So, Anne, I wanted to ask you if you had some suggestions for people for additional learnings, right? Or tools or things that have impacted Anne in her career. Is there anything you would recommend to somebody, like books or tools that you use or things like that get Anne through the days and the weeks?
Yeah, sure. I've never been much of an academic agilist or a book person, so I'm not really into the book thing, Kurt, but I'd encourage folks to check out our website at www.devjam.com. There's just a ton of different resources, articles, videos on those things, just a ton of cool information from David Hussman and others on our team at DevJam that I think will really challenge your thinking from traditional thinking in product management and product ownership more in terms of how do we blend these things into product agility, and something that's going to be taking into account product, process, and technology, effectively blending that so we all work together as one team, iterating and learning over time.
That's great. And so if I want to find out more about Anne, I can go to devjam.com. But if people wanted to reach out directly to you, where's a good place to do that?
I'd encourage them to check me out on LinkedIn, Anne Steiner, or shoot me an email at ann.steiner@devjam.com. I'd love to connect with anybody that listened to this podcast and chat more with them.
Cool. Well, thanks for joining me today, Anne. It's been a pleasure.
Likewise, Kurt. Thank you.
And whoop, there it is, my conversation with Anne. She's great. Go check out devjam.com and read all the things that they post on their blog there. It's great. This year, I'm excited to present at Customer Focus North, which you can check out at customerfn.com. We're going to be breaking down the silos and focusing on the customer and employee experience. A lot of talented speakers will be there, so go and check it out. That's customerfn.com. And also, don't forget to go to iTunes and leave a review. It really helps people find the show, and it'd be great. So that's it for today's show. I hope you have a fantastic week, and thanks for listening.